Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 136 based on novel. So let's start. As the ghostly figure rushed over, Wang Lin's face sank, and without a word, he opened his mouth to spit out a ray of black light. After a flash of the black light, a 30-foot-long flag appeared in his hand. After shaking the flag, the few remaining primary souls flew out. The ghostly figure was startled and its ghostly eyes lit up. Instead of rushing toward Wang Lin, it changed its target to the soul transformation primary souls. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he moved forward. He moved past the ghostly figure, tossed out the beast trap, and his index finger pressed down on the black-robed man. The black-robed man's face darkened, then his left hand reached out toward the ghostly figure and he shouted, "Return!" The ghostly figure let out a roar and seemed very unyielding. The man secretly cursed. He was in no condition to keep controlling the ghostly figure, and Wang Lin's figure was closing in like lightning. Wang Lin's right index finger pointed at the air, and at this moment, the celestial spiritual energy inside his body began to gather at the tip of his finger. Demonic Finger. The second of the 3 killing spells. With the power of one finger, the sky changed color and an endless surge of demonic spiritual energy came from his body. At this moment, the demonic spiritual energy spread out like crazy. Without the black-robed man to control it, the ghostly figure quickly charged toward the primary souls Wang Lin released. In its eyes, these soul fragments were very nutritious, and maybe after devouring them, its own ghostly energy would increase greatly. Demonic Finger. The black-robed man was able to immediately recognize Wang Lin's famous move. This move was used against the 4th disciple of the Purple Division and left a powerful impression on everyone. The black-robed man's eyes lit up. His right hand couldn't leave his chest because he would lose control of the ghostly figure if it did. Right now, in the moment of danger, he quickly backed up and spat out another black cloud. A wave of fishy smell came out with the black cloud. The poisonous, black cloud quickly scattered in an attempt to stop Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a cold snort as 2 gray symbols flashed on his forehead and covered his entire body. The life force seals appeared once more. At the moment they covered his body, Wang Lin moved like lightning through the poison cloud. When the poison cloud touched Wang Lin's body, it dissipated. The black-robed man continued to back up and spit out endless black clouds in an attempt to stop Wang Lin. His plan was to teleport toward the ghostly figure he released earlier. However, who would have thought that this poison would have little effect on Wang Lin? Just at the instant he was about to teleport, Wang Lin's figure charged through layers of the poison cloud. What came with Wang Lin was that powerful finger filled with endless demonic spiritual energy. Demonic Finger. The black-robed man's expression changed. He couldn't dodge it in time, so he quickly raised his left hand to form a seal. He then pressed this seal toward Wang Lin's finger to stop Wang Lin's approach. Their fingers touched in an instant. However, they didn't directly touch, there was a 3-inch gap between their fingers. There was something strange going on in those 3 inches of space. Wang Lin's demonic spiritual energy spread out from the tip of his finger and collided with the black energy coming from the black-robed man's finger. At this moment, a very dark, black ball appeared between their 2 fingers. This small ball was made purely of Wang Lin's demonic spiritual energy, and the black energy came from the black-robed man. There were thunderous rumbles coming from inside the ball and black lightning moved along the outside. At this moment, it was as if everything in the world had frozen and all of the light gathered on Wang Lin and the black-robed man. Wang Lin was floating in the air and his clothes were moving without any wind. His hair was most eye-catching, as it gave off this elegant, flowing feel. The black-robed man was the opposite. His face was gloomy and his eyes sparkled with lightning. He stood on the ground with his left hand up in the air. His clothes were flapping backward as if being hit by a crazy wind, and even his hair was flowing backwards. The thunderous roar inside the small ball between them became even louder. The celestial spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body surged like crazy as it converted into demonic spiritual energy and was injected into the small ball. As for the black-robed man, he was secretly cursing. He had to inject all of the demonic spiritual energy he had gained so far into the small ball, because if he lost control of the small ball, he would suffer the backlash. The black-robed man's face was fierce. He didn't open his mouth and instead sent out a divine sense message. I don't believe a mid-stage soul transformation cultivator like you has more celestial spiritual energy than me, who is at the late stage of soul transformation. Since you want to fight with me, then let us see who lives and who dies. Wang Lin's eyes were as bright as torches as he responded. You have the ghost absorbing your celestial spiritual energy, how could you be a match for me? The black-robed man let out a cold snort and stared at Wang Lin. He then clenched his teeth and suddenly lifted his right hand from his chest. At the moment he did so, the ghost that was trying to devour the primary souls suddenly let out a roar and stared at the black-robed man. The black-robed man's hand paused for a moment, but then he immediately lifted it some more. When he lifted his hand, there was a sticky, black filament connecting his fingers to his chest. At the moment he raised his hand, the ghost let out an angry roar filled with resentment. Its body gradually disappeared, but just as it was about to completely fade away, its ghostly eyes lit up. It looked at the black-robed man's current situation and then at Wang Lin. It seemed to have made a certain decision, and before it disappeared, waves of black light came from its body. The black-robed man's expression changed, and just at this moment, the black light shone very brightly. Under this black light, the ghost stopped disappearing. Right when the light started shining, the ghost immediately turned, charged out through the wave of demonic spiritual energy, and disappeared into the horizon. As for the primary souls, they chased after the ghost in a flash. This scene happened very fast, so fast that even the black-robed man was startled, but he immediately let out an angry roar. He stared at Wang Lin with his eyes even more bloodshot than before and shouted, "It's all because of you. If it wasn't for you, how would that heavenly ghost escape?" Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he said, "Serves you right." The black-robed man's eyes were filled with killing intent as he said, "Little bastard, you are dead." Now that the ghost wasn't absorbing from him anymore, he used all of the ghostly celestial spiritual energy he had cultivated with his sect cultivation method and infused it into the small ball. "Wang Lin, accept your death." With that, he infused 90% of his ghostly celestial spiritual energy into the small ball. At this moment, the thunderous roar from the small ball echoed across the heavens. It was as if the small ball between their fingers was no longer a normal thing but the legendary divine retribution lightning. As the black-robed man's ghostly celestial spiritual energy entered the small ball, it became obvious that celestial spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body was not enough, causing the small ball to slowly press toward Wang Lin. The black-robed man revealed a vicious look as if he could already see Wang Lin being hit by the small ball. Wang Lin's whole body would collapse and his blood and flesh would be scattered everywhere. Even his origin soul would be completely scattered, so there was no chance of it returning to the reincarnation cycle. Kill all life force, destroy any chance of entering the reincarnation cycle, and erase all traces of his existence. But just at this moment, the black-robed man was startled because when he looked at Wang Lin, what he saw was not fear or indifference. Instead, it was a mysterious expression, a smile that was not a smile, a mocking expression. This expression caused his heart to tremble. Wang Lin didn't even look at the small ball as he said, "God-slaying war chariot, release." With that, in almost an instant, a roar that pierced the heavens and was filled with an unyielding nature came from where Wang Lin threw the beast trap earlier. It was like a primordial beast that dared to fight against the heavens, dared to devour celestials, and would never yield in its life. The black-robed man's expression suddenly changed greatly. What followed the roar was the spirit beast's giant body. At almost the instant it appeared, it let out another roar. Wang Lin shouted, "Kill his person." The spirit beast let out a roar. Its eyes were extremely cold as it stared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin was already prepared for this beast to not listen to him. He let out a cold snort and spat out one word. This word was extremely complex, and others wouldn't be able to tell what it even meant. However, this word was something Wang Lin had learned from the inheritance of the war chariot left behind by the celestial that created it, the 9-word mantra. This 9-word mantra was especially used to control this beast. With each seal released, one more of this mantra could be used. How could a celestial let the treasure he was refining rebel against him? He had already planned for it ahead of time. With one word, the unyielding beast's body trembled. Its gaze flickered and moved toward the black-robed man as if it had transferred all its rage toward him instead. All of this, from the moment the spirit beast appeared to when it began to attack, happened in an extremely short period of time. As the spirit beast roared, it moved as fast as lightning toward the black-robed man. The black-robed man's face changed like never before. He had already used all of the ghostly celestial spiritual energy inside his body, making it impossible for him to dodge. If he tried to dodge, he would immediately suffer from the backlash of the small ball filled with destructive aura. But now, with that fierce beast coming his way, if he didn't dodge, he would die. He quickly jerked his head back, viciously looked at Wang Lin, raised his left hand, and slapped his own forehead. His entire body trembled, then his origin soul left his body and began fly off into the distance like crazy. At the moment his origin soul left his body fell down like a lifeless puppet. The small ball pressing against Wang Lin suddenly paused and then quickly charged toward the body of the black-robed man. There was a thunderous, rumbling sound. The small ball closed in on the black-robed man's body, causing his clothes to instantly disappear. His skin quickly collapsed, then his flesh and blood turned to dust before finally his bones disappeared as well. Now besides his origin soul, everything else about him had completely disappeared from this world. The spirit beast missed and let out an angry roar. It wanted to chase after the black-robed man's origin soul, but it couldn't because of the war chariot's leash, so it began to roar in anger. Wang Lin's right hand reached out and grabbed the war chariot. He quickly chased after the black-robed man's origin soul. The spirit beast was extremely happy as it quickly passed Wang Lin to chase after the origin soul. A person and a beast were working together so well for the first time. With Wang Lin moving the war chariot, it increased the movement range of the spirit beast by a lot. After chasing for a bit, the spirit beast seemed like it couldn't wait any longer. It turned its large head around to look at Wang Lin, and after letting out a roar, it charged at him. Wang Lin's expression remained the same, but both of his pupils suddenly shrank. The spirit beast's speed was very quick. With a cold expression on his face, Wang Lin decided that if the beast took one more step, he would punish it without any hesitation. The spirit beast suddenly paused while closing in and revealed a hint of sadness. Wang Lin suddenly realized something and the coldness in his eyes disappeared. He nodded at the spirit beast, then the spirit beast looked at Wang Lin and suddenly jumped at him. It didn't attack Wang Lin but wrapped around him and threw him up. It then moved like lightning and appeared under Wang Lin's feet before carrying him away at a frightening speed. Wang Lin was suppressing the joy in his heart because this was the first time the spirit beast was willingly carrying him. The celestial who created the war chariot recorded in the jade that this treasure was different from others. Although the mantra was very powerful, if one wasn't acknowledged by the spirit beast, only a portion of its true power could be used. Only after making the beast truly acknowledge him could the full power of the war chariot be used. The beast hasn't acknowledged me, it is only eager to devour that origin soul. It considers me too slow, so it decided to carry me, but this is still much better than before. The spirit beast's speed was extremely fast. It can be said that this beast's speed wasn't any slower than when Wang Lin uses the Silver Dragon Star Compass in space. The spirit beast created many afterimages as it disappeared into the distance at an unimaginable speed. The black-robed man was quickly flying away. There was a small crystal located at his dantian, and there was some demonic energy slowly being released from it. His hatred toward Wang Lin increased to a monstrous degree while he escaped. He swore that once he found a body to possess and return to full power, he would find a way to cruelly kill Wang Lin. As he was escaping, his expression suddenly changed. He turned his head to see the spirit beast that seemed to have locked onto him quickly chasing after him. The black-robed man's origin soul revealed a look of fear, and he was just about to change direction when the spirit beast let out a roar that seemed to travel directly through space. The black-robed man's origin soul suddenly trembled. It couldn't help but stop for a moment, which allowed the spirit beast to close in. The spirit beast's eyes were filled with greed. It knew that if it devoured this origin soul, its strength would increase. If it could get strong enough, it would be able to break free from this damn prison and live a carefree life as it wandered around the large universe. With this idea in mind, the spirit beast worked extra hard. It opened its mouth and a wave of fishy smell came from inside it. This was a soul breath. It caused the black-robed man's origin soul to immediately stiffen. If it was a nascent soul, it would have already lost all power to resist. However, the black-robed man's soul wasn't a nascent soul but an origin soul. It was also the powerful origin soul of someone who was at the late stage of soul transformation and ready to step into the ascendant stage. As a result, although this breath was effective, it couldn't completely freeze him. He moved at an impossible angle and managed to escape the jaws of the spirit beast. He was about to permanently damage his origin soul by using his origin soul's essence to escape. But just at this moment, Wang Lin moved. However, what he moved wasn't his body but the soul lasher. The whip moved like a shadow and quickly wrapped itself around the black-robed man's origin soul. Wang Lin pulled the origin soul back into his hand and sealed it within a soul flag. The spirit beast was suddenly outraged and turned its head to devour Wang Lin. Seeing its delicious food being stolen made it almost as angry as it was when it was captured, sealed, and refined by that celestial. Wang Lin secretly sighed, then his eyes became cold and he softly said one word. With this one word, the spirit beast's eyes suddenly turned bloodshot and it let out an angry roar. It gave Wang Lin a merciless look before its large body returned to the war chariot. At the moment its body returned to the war chariot, it didn't give Wang Lin any time to react before turning back into the beast trap and flying back to him. A powerful suction force suddenly came from the beast trap. Wang Lin bitterly smiled. Whenever the beast threw a temper tantrum, it was a headache to deal with. Wang Lin sat down in the lotus position with a piece of celestial jade in his hand to counteract the suction force. This time, the amount of celestial spiritual energy it absorbed was far greater than before. This showed just how angry the beast was. Although having celestial spiritual energy being absorbed was a side effect of the beast trap, after being fused with it for so long, the spirit beast had more or less gained some control. However, its control was limited, so at the most it could only make the trap suck away a bit more celestial spiritual energy than usual. After a long time, Wang Lin took a deep breath, and the suction from the beast trap slowly disappeared. It seemed the spirit beast couldn't make it to suck more and could only unwillingly give up. After putting away the beast trap, Wang Lin revealed a bitter smile. He closed his eyes to go back into cultivation and didn't open them until he had recovered all of his celestial spiritual energy. This spirit beast, Wang Lin shook his head. The sky was now bright and the wave of demonic spiritual energy that lasted the night was gradually disappearing. Wang Lin stood up, then his right hand slapped his bag of holding and took out the soul flag holding the black-robed man's origins owl. He shook the flag, causing the black-robed man's origin soul to appear, and his hand moved like lightning, catching the origin soul in his palm. At the same time, the celestial spiritual energy inside Wang Lin's body formed threads that entered the origin soul to form a restriction. If this person wanted to self-destruct, the threads would create a buffer. Although he couldn't completely seal the black-robed man's origin soul due to the difference in cultivation levels, this allowed him to detect the attempt at self-destruct ahead of time and seal the origin soul within the soul flag. I won't accept this. If it wasn't for that spirit beast magical treasure and the soul fragments to lure the heavenly ghost away, you wouldn't be a match for me at all. You would have died for sure. After the black-robed man's origin soul was released, it immediately roared in anger, and his eyes were extremely vicious. He knew that he had been captured and would have no chance of survival. He also noticed the restriction in his origin soul, so he knew it would be useless to self-destruct. Thus, he decided to vent as he pleased. Wang Lin didn't waste any time with him and directly asked, "What is the demon crystal?" The black-robed man's origin soul sneered and said, "Shameless person. First you forced me to compete with you in spells, then you took advantage of the moment that I was defenseless and sneak attacked me. Is this how the heavenly fate sect acts?" Wang Lin frowned and he squeezed his right hand. The origin soul let out a series of miserable screams and it weakened, but the black-robed man's gaze was still vicious. The origin soul sneered and looked at Wang Lin. I, Lu Yun, am a disciple of the Heavenly Ghost sect. I cultivate the path of the Heavenly Ghost and naturally have my own ghost spirit. If you kill me, then my master, Daoist Ghost, will find out, and he will avenge me. He is someone who even the All-Seer talks to as a peer. Wang Lin, have you carefully thought about this? Wang Lin coldly looked at the person. He was losing his patience, so he raised his right hand and hit the origin soul. The origin soul that had already lost its body almost collapsed and weakened a lot due to this blow. My master won't forgive you. The viciousness in Lu Yun's eyes reached its limit. Wang Lin's eyes became cold as his left hand pressed against this person's forehead and he softly said, "Soul search." There were many restrictions to the soul search, but with Wang Lin's current cultivation level and the use of celestial spiritual energy, it wasn't very difficult. Also, with how weakened the origin soul was now, there weren't any obstructions. Bursts of miserable screams came from Lu Yun's mouth. The soul search spell was a very tyrannical and harmful spell. When this spell is used on someone who has a body, they feel less pain, but when used directly on the origin soul, the pain is many times greater. Lu Yun's painful screams gradually weakened. After one incense stick of time, his screaming died out and his origin soul was almost transparent. Wang Lin raised his left hand and reached directly into Lu Yun's dantian. When he withdrew his hand, there was a crystal in it. Wang Lin revealed a pondering expression as he sealed Lu Yun's origin soul into the soul flag. He had uses for this origin soul. He planned to refine Lu Yun's origin soul into one of the primary souls of the soul flag. After putting the soul inside the soul flag, Wang Lin's body moved like lightning into the distance. He was going in the direction that the primary souls chased after the heavenly ghost. So this land of demon spirits has such secrets hidden within. No wonder Ouyang Hua said that there is a bloodbath every time the outsiders arrive. Heavenly Ghost Sect. Although this Lu Yun exaggerated, there is still truth in his words. However, this matter is something to deal with 500 years from now, so there is no need to worry about it now. This Heavenly Ghost Sect's methods are interesting, and there are some devil restriction spells in Lu Yun's memories I can try. The demon spirit land is split into 9 countries, and each country has an ancient demon spirit sealed within. An ancient demon spirit is formed naturally from the heavens and earth and possesses powerful abilities. Once a cultivator fuses with it, their cultivation increases greatly and they have the chance to learn a powerful spell. According to Lu Yun's memories, every ancient demon spirit is a rare treasure, and after fusing with it, there is a chance of entering a state called beginning of the soul. The so-called beginning of the soul is a very mysterious state. Once a cultivator enters this state, the speed at which they can comprehend the heavens reaches an unimaginable degree. If this was the only thing it offered, it wouldn't be a big deal. The thing that makes every cultivator so crazy about it is that once you enter this state, there is a chance that you can create your own celestial spell based off your domain. Rumor has it that the celestial spells left behind by the celestial realm were created by powerful cultivators when they entered this state. As Wang Lin flew, his eyes lit up. After going through all of Lu Yun's memories, he had a decent idea about this land. It will be very difficult to obtain an ancient demon spirit. According to Lu Yun's memories, even though this place has existed for hundreds of thousands of years and opens up every 5,000 years, the number of cultivators that have managed to obtain an ancient demon spirit is far too low. Rumor has it that in these countless years, only 10 people have actually obtained an ancient demon spirit. The only way to obtain one is to have accomplishments. Each country only has one ancient demon spirit. The spirits aren't controlled by anyone, and they are the symbols of their respective countries. The spirits evolve once every 100,000 years, and if one is merged with someone before it can evolve, it would take 1,000,000 years to form a new one. The rank of each country's ancient demon spirit is different too. For example, the Sky Demon country's ancient demon was just born 100,000 years ago and has the lowest rank. The ancient demon in the 9 Extinction country has never been merged ever since it was born, so its strength has reached an unimaginable degree. Only those with a lot of accomplishments have the chance to pray before an ancient demon spirit. Only those who have killed countless people have the chance of becoming one's owner. The ancient demon spirits are very mysterious, no matter how many accomplishments people who are born in this land rack up, they can only pray to them but never fuse with them. Only the foreigners have the right to merge with them. As for the reason for all of this, no one knows. Also, the demonic spiritual energy is the key to fusing with a spirit. If one doesn't have enough demonic spiritual energy, even if they have the chance to merge with a spirit, it won't succeed. As a result, this created the bloodbath that happens every 5,000 years when the foreigners arrive. The foreigners have to kill because by killing, they will be able to absorb all of the demonic spiritual energy the others have gathered. Only by killing others can my competition decrease. Wang Lin revealed a pondering expression as he quickly flew to where the primary souls were. He was moving like a meteor as he flew across the sky and disappeared into the horizon. The reason why Luo Yun knew all of this was because tens of thousands of years ago, a member of his sect came here. Although that person didn't obtain an ancient demon, he managed to make it out of here alive even though there was only 10% chance of living. After he returned to the Heavenly Ghost sect, he immediately recorded his 500 years of experience in the demon spirit land. This is why Lu Yun knew all of this. Now his knowledge made it easier for me. Lu Yun learned from his ancestor that to quickly find one's roots here, they must join a country as soon as possible. This is the only way to obtain military exploits, but more importantly, once you have military exploits, you aren't on your own anymore. You will have demon soldiers and demon commanders at your command. This is the best way to gain an advantage at the start. The closest country is the Sky Demon country. Lu Yun went to the ancient demon city earlier and obtained an entrance token of the demon general of the left wing but required him to acquire 3 ranks demonic spiritual energy to enter. This place uses ranks to measure demonic spiritual energy. 3 ranks of demonic spiritual energy is equal to the amount of spiritual energy a foundation establishment cultivator needs. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he waved his hand and a crystal appeared in his palm. This was the demon crystal from Lu Yun's Dantian. After checking the crystal, he realized that it contained 2 ranks of demonic spiritual energy. No wonder this Lu Yun wanted to kill me. The demon crystal I absorbed inside the valley just happens to have 1 rank, and adding the 2 ranks here, that would make 3 ranks. However, it ended up benefiting me instead. Wang Lin sneered as he moved very quickly. His divine sense detected that the primary souls were not far away. His body turned into a cloud of green smoke and quickly charged over. However, he suddenly had an idea, and he forced his body out of the green smoke with a pondering expression in his eyes. Wait a minute. In Lu Yun's memories, it said that when fusing with an ancient demon spirit, there is a chance to enter the state called beginning of the soul. This sounds familiar. Beginning of the soul. Beginning of the soul, soul. Wang Lin's body trembled and he suddenly stopped and froze in the sky. His eyes were glowing brightly. If someone looked at him from a distance, they would see his eyes glowing so brightly that they could light up an area more than 10,000 feet away. Sha realm? Could it be the Sha realm? Wang Lin's eyes became even brighter. Ji, Dao, Sha. Wang Lin's heart beat like crazy. After obtaining the Ji realm, Wang Lin once went on a mad search for information regarding it. The largest harvest was from a cave deep under a plain in the Sea of Devils. There was a large collection of ancient books there, and it was there that he got a detailed description of the Ji realm. When he was looking for information on the Ji realm, he also found information on the other 2 realms, which were just as famous. Dao realm, Sha realm. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he went into deep thought. Beginning of the soul. The 3 realms are 3 spiritual energy realms that have existed for a long time. If the Ji realm was able to transform from spiritual energy into divine sense, then the other 2 realms should be able to change as well. Could the state of beginning of the soul be an effect of the Sha realm turning into divine sense? If Ji realm is death, then the Sha realm is life. If the Sha realm is converted to divine sense, does that mean my divine sense will have endless life and will never die, or creation? I cultivate the heavens life and death domain. If I can fuse the Ji realm and Sha realm using the Ji realm as death and Sha realm as life, would that complete my domain? While thinking about this, Wang Lin bitterly smiled and shook his head. It was best not to fantasize too much about it, as it was just too unrealistic. He let out a soft sigh and put it in the back of his mind. It didn't matter if this beginning of the soul was what he thought it was, because right now it had nothing to do with him, and thinking more about it was pointless. Wang Lin's figure moved. With one step, he disappeared from the spot. When he reappeared, he was more than 5,000 kilometers away. When Wang Lin's figure appeared in the sky, he was flying over a plain. When he appeared, several ghost-like things flew toward him and circled him. One was a chilling beast that roared as it moved. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out and focused on a black crack on the ground. This crack was more than 1,000 feet wide. The crack looked like it was created by someone striking with a flying sword from the sky. However, a long time has passed and most of it has closed, so now only a 100-foot gap remained. There was wild grass covering the entire area, so unless one looked very carefully, it was hard to see this crack in the ground. Wang Lin opened his mouth and sucked. The primary souls around him turned into black smoke and were sucked into his body, then they entered the 1 billion soul flag inside his origin soul. After putting the primary souls away, Wang Lin landed next to the crack and coldly looked at it. According to Lu Yun's memories, the Heavenly Ghost is a unique avatar that only the Heavenly Ghost sect has. These things are born from the void and normally have no form, but the members of the Heavenly Ghost sect use the blood of mortal pregnant women as a lure, the blood of powerful men as a guide, and add a cultivator's nascent soul as a medium. It takes 49 years to summon a Heavenly Ghost, then they use a secret spell to make it their life-bound Heavenly Ghost. Lu Yun had very high status in the Heavenly Ghost sect. Before he came here, his master gave him the weakest of his 9 life-bound Heavenly Ghosts to protect himself. Lu Yun didn't have much time to refine it, and that's why the Heavenly Ghost betrayed him. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and he waved his right hand. 2 strands of grey gas suddenly appeared and began moving between his fingers. He flicked his finger and the 2 strands of grey gas shot out toward the crack on the ground. These 2 strands of gas charged into the crack like 2 raging dragons. The Heavenly Ghost was hiding inside this crack. When he betrayed his master, he suffered a certain amount of consequences, and due to having lost the support of its master's blood essence, it was extremely weak right now. But this kind of weakness was only temporary. If it can last for 7 days, it would no longer need essence blood from its master. If it can last for 49 days, it will completely regain its freedom and return into incorporeal form. After that, it is free to go anywhere in this large world. At this moment, it was hiding inside the crack, then its eyes suddenly lit up as it showed itself and jumped at one of the strands of grey gas. However, at the moment it jumped, the grey gas suddenly collapsed into specks of light. The ghost was startled and wanted to retreat, but it was too late. Those specks of grey light quickly gathered, and what they were gathering toward was the ghost. In almost an instant, the Heavenly Ghost was covered in grey gas. The ghost let out an angry roar and quickly backed up. Just at this moment, the other strand of grey gas arrived before the Heavenly Ghost and suddenly collapsed into specks of grey light. Then it gathered once more with the Heavenly Ghost as the center. Just like that, in a short period of time, the Heavenly Ghost was covered in specks of grey light. This video will end here.